Why are men intimidated by successful women? It's got to be something about a big, bad, successful lady that intimidates a guy. And we gonna swan dive right into this thing and break it down right now. Let's go.
Bitch, you want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but want a winner's reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored. Okay. I'm so sick of these.
Shout out to my brother Lojo TV, who posed a question yesterday. Why are guys intimidated by successful chicks? Which was a great question, because it is a fact that a lot of guys are intimidated by successful chicks. And I don't want you to assume that it is only guys who are not successful themselves that are intimidated by successful chicks, because on the flip side of that coin, it's a lot of successful guys who are intimidated by successful chicks. So let's get into it. You have guys who don't have a lot of success financially, who are intimidated by women who have a lot of success financially, more so than them, right? And in these cases, it's usually because this guy feels inadequate as a man if the woman in the situation is a breadwinner. So he doesn't know any other way that he can connect with her, be an asset to her, be useful to her, mean something to her, right? If he is financially inferior to her. But then you have guys that may be financially superior to a chick, but nonetheless, she's still successful financially. She may not be as successful financially as him, but nonetheless, she is successful financially. And in these cases, it can be the same thing. The man doesn't believe that, or he doesn't know how or understand how he can be an asset to this woman besides financially. See, this is the thing, right? You have a lot of guys who use their money to speak for them in a way that their mouth, their mind, and their personality cannot. This is why you have so many tricks out there. Shout out to the tricks who ain't got no problem tricking on a young lady, right? But even on a personal level, not so much a transactional level, you have a lot of guys who got it together financially, but if they come across a female who has it together financially, they really don't know how to get in where they fit in. They can't even identify where they fit in to be able to get in. So, you know, they get intimidated by that, by the financial success. The fact that a woman doesn't need them financially. A woman doesn't have to depend on them financially. They don't know what to do with a woman like that. And see, they magnify the financial aspect of it to a point that it blinds them from seeing anything else in the relationship between a man and a woman. There's so much more to a successful relationship than successful finances between a man and a woman, right? And, you know, a woman who's successful financially, you know, she's going to be confident in a lot of ways, obviously confident when it comes to money. She might have a certain air or a certain aura about herself. When she moves around, you can just see her energy is bold and confident. But just because she's successful financially doesn't mean that she's successful emotionally, successful mentally, successful socially, right? And see, as a man, when you have your manhood in order, when you got your man shit together, you understand that, right? You understand that money is not the only thing or the best thing that you can offer a woman, right? Manhood, leadership, companionship. You know, there's so many things that a man can offer a woman that are better than just finances, right? But a lot of guys don't understand that. And so, because they don't understand that, You have a lot of quote unquote high value men, guys who have their finances together, that may settle for, or in their mind they're settling for, or to the untrained eye, mind, and ear, observing from the outside looking in, they're settling for whatever woman they deal with. So the woman isn't nearly successful financially, not very independent financially. So a guy gets with a woman like that because now he feels adequate. Now he feels useful. Now he feels like an asset to her because he can support her financially. But, a man who quote unquote is high value, has his shit together, and understands his value as a man, he has his priorities, his principles and values in order. His character is intact. He understands who he is and what he is, and how that can be beneficial to a woman besides just financially, right? Then, he's going to be able to learn a woman, ask the right questions, take inventory, take time to understand who she is and why she is who she is, how she became who she is, what she's interested in, what she likes, what she doesn't like. And, when you dig off into this, when you go down this rabbit hole, you understand that there's a lot more to it than just financial success. Again, mental success, right? Where's her mind at? How is her mental health? How is her mental fitness? Right? Just because she has it together financially doesn't mean that her mental health and her mental fitness is in order. Right? She might be malnourished in those areas. She might be mentally unfit. Right? She might not be feeding and exercising herself mentally the way that she should. Same thing emotionally. Emotionally, she might not be all together. Or even if she is, there's always, room for improvement. So, a man is going to be an asset to her in those areas. He's going to be a mental asset to her, an emotional asset to her, as well as a financial asset, And if she has her stuff together financially, then, the more the merrier, all the better, right? But a real man who got his shit together, he's not going to be intimidated by a woman who's successful financially. And even a man who may be, again, financially behind her in terms of success, he's going to understand himself, understand how he's an asset to whoever he comes around, let alone a woman that he's in a relationship, but all the more so a woman that he's in a relationship with. He understands how he's going to be a man to her, because as financially successful as she may be, she's incomplete without the right man in her life. And the right man understands that. And the right man understands that it goes far beyond finance. Same thing for a man. A man who's financially successful understands that he's incomplete without the right woman or women in his life. So, a man who, again, may not be as financially successful as any given woman that he may be interested in, he still understands how he can be an asset to her, right? He understands that the things that he has to offer her, a lot of men who are financially superior to him, they can't fulfill that. They can't give her that, what he has to give her, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and human beings are not completely satisfied based on transactions. Relationships aren't mechanical. Relationships are, that are transactional, there's not a deep connection. So, you know, again, a real man understands that, and it goes far beyond finance. You dig? So let that marinate on your mind one time. Freeze is it. Go ahead, put some of this good old love in your body, like so. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out. Dig this.
Yeah.
I've been stroking relentless to get waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Baby, yeah, where you been?